Behind the scenes, successful clothing brands leverage a ton of e-commerce hacks to enhance user experience, drive sales, and build lasting relationship with their customers. Let's break down 4 hacks that you can implement on your store today. Number 1 is going to be visual storytelling. Now, I think Fashion Nova does a really good job with this, and that's knowing how to implement your product images within your homepage and your hero sections and your additional photography in order to create something a little bit more cohesive than what you typically would think of changing within a homepage. So if we look at Fashion Nova here, at a very glance, they're doing an end of season sale to have 75% off pretty much everything. But you can see this red color right here from the top. Obviously, we're approaching Valentine's Day, so I think they're inserting some of that DNA right here within the homepage already. We're in January still, but they're inserting some of that right within here. Again, here, visual storytelling, you just see beautiful imagery that I think transcends your normal product photography and more into what we're getting into, more modeled or maybe lifestyle type of photography right within here. And then also using visual cues to make sure that they're including some kind of verbiage or context to whatever it is that they're trying to get us to go in here, right? Buy one, get one free. Again, we have these same sort of red hues and red colors. And more importantly, once we start getting into more of the other sections right here within the homepage, you can see like things are actually looking like each other, if you will, right? This, I would probably call this another sort of hero section, which this actually has become very popular to do right here within the homepage, is including multiple of these big banner or slideshow type images within the homepage. But as you can see, they're adding now some red flowers, a red flower dress with a little bit of a movement there, some more red plants, showcasing really different collections right here within the homepage. But as you can see, visually, everything sort of flows and looks good comparing one to the other. Visual storytelling, I think it goes beyond just trying to tell a story, but also brands that use it effectively, I think they use high quality visuals like this, not only on the website, but on social medias as well. But then also they're sort of creating this narrative, right, around their products and these big banner type of images. And as you can see, like this sort of cohesiveness, right, throughout the homepage. And it gives you this sense of like, yeah, sort of Valentine's is approaching, right? Even though they're not even mentioning Valentine's or anything like that, like just with the use of color and like clean white backgrounds, that's sort of like where they're navigating towards when it comes to this homepage. Something else with visual storytelling that I do want to point out, this White Fox Boutique, they're doing this, maybe it's a test, right? But they're using these images where, again, we're talking about, you know, high resolution, high quality images, but then they're using over here what it looks like a selfie is really not a selfie, right? They're still taking, you know, high quality photography, but they're just holding their phone right in front of their faces to make it look like they're taking a selfie in front of the mirror. And again, that's kind of, it goes back to visual storytelling, right? It's telling the story that who this is really for, right? You're not gonna really see, you know, an older demographic. Obviously, by the product you can kind of tell, but doing things like this, doing things that your customers are already doing, you know, once they get the product, they're probably gonna be looking exactly like this, right? With the phone in front of their face, taking a picture in front of a mirror to see how it looks, maybe to send it to a friend, etc. So these types of elements are also good to include within your homepage, because I think this goes a little bit beyond storytelling and it goes more into sort of the end result that the customer is going to get when they get the product. You're trying to really tell the customer, hey, this could be you right here. This is really the next best thing that you can do, you know, besides having them, you know, touch and feel the actual products, is having them imagine themselves within, you know, wearing the actual. Hey, if you're liking this so far, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now, another hack that I see is user-generated content and some sort of community building. Now, brands that do this really well, obviously they incorporate their social media channels to actually grab some of that user-generated content on their socials and actually insert some of that into the website. So customers often will share photos, right? And obviously reviews of products. And that can actually create a sense of community and authenticity around the brand. And it's something that almost goes unnoticed a lot of times when you go to a website, right? And I have Binky Bro here open. I purchased from them for my son. But as you go through the homepage, you will see, you know, things like this. Obviously here they're talking a little bit more about, you know, family that really started the brand. But right here within the homepage, you get this type of imagery that is not your product photos, etc. It sort of transcends that. And then you see the follow us on Instagram. This is something that, this is just an example, but a lot of brands tend to ask me like, do I need a Instagram feed, right, on my homepage? And I always tell them the same thing. It's like, if your Instagram feed is actually sharing pictures of your community, pictures of your customers, reviews, and that type of social proof, then 100% yes, include that Instagram feed on your website. So for example, this is a perfect example of a great Instagram feed on a website. And that's because it's actually sharing what your son or daughter might look like, you know, wearing some of their beanies and hats and cute little t-shirts that I absolutely love and adore. But this is the type of sort of psychological hack, right, that e-commerce brands are using, right? They're not using the Instagram feed just to let you know that they're on Instagram. They're using the Instagram feed to share what their community is actually sharing and build more authenticity and more community, right, around their brand. You go to a website like this and you see these types of imageries and you know, like, yes, people are buying from them. There's some happy customers and I can see my kid wearing some. Now, the third hack that brands use is gamification. I tend to throw this word around a lot, and a few years ago, it's like nobody really knew what to do or how you can actually implement gamification into your website. And let me tell you, like, things like, you may not think about it this way, but things like loyalty point system or challenges or even exclusive badges, you know, for certain activities or certain things, those are all examples of gamification. So this actually makes the shopping experience a little bit more fun, or it could encourage repeat visits, or it could encourage for people to add more things to their cart, right? It also incentivizes customers to take specific actions. It could be, you know, sharing products, writing reviews, and doing a lot of other different. A good example and something that just came to mind, popped to mind almost immediately is True Classic. So they have just like, you know, your basics in terms of tees and pants, and I think they have a bunch of other stuff right now. But something that I kind of always gravitate back towards is like their cart. Right within their cart, and you may have seen this on other stores, but right within their cart, they have at the very top, unlock free gifts, right? You are one thing, you are $99 away from free shipping, but then beyond that, if you get to 150, you get a pair of free boxer briefs, you get to 200 and you get an active long sleeve shirt. So you may not think too much about this, but this is really gamification. This is gamification of the shopping experience. And even something as simple as this, right? This is an empty cart. I haven't added any product or anything whatsoever. And they're actually taking huge advantage of that cart right there. It's empty, but look, they're giving us that sort of gamification portion at the very top, and then at the bottom, they're actually having the product categories, so you can actually go in and explore some products because you don't have anything in the cart right now. So again, just a brief example of what gamification on your store could look like. Hey, if you're interested in some of these hacks and you want someone to implement some of these hacks on your store, you can actually hire us for our website VIP day, where we design and develop a website in one day, but we can also do maybe let's implement these 4 hacks into your store in one day. We can do that too. Check the link in the description below. Now for the last hack, we're talking about limited edition releases. So introducing limited edition or maybe some exclusive products with a sense of urgency. That's the real hack here. So limiting releases can create that sense of obviously FOMO, right? Like fear of missing out, that I'm not going to get these products. And it could actually drive quick decision making once they're on their website. So this tactic obviously just straight up boosts sales and actually can create a buzz around your brand. I know there's brands out there that exclusively just do this. And an example of that would be something like Dark Sport, where they rely very, very heavily. They may have actually nowadays like a few more products around than they used to in the past, but they rely exclusively on collection drops. So they prepare a collection, they buy a certain amount of products, and really, you know, once they're sold out, they sell out of that particular product. They may bring it back in the future. Sure, there may be a collection that they call it our best sellers from 2023, right? And they make a limited batch of some of the other collections best sellers and put it into this collection. I've actually purchased from them, and this is like back when I didn't know too much about the brand, but I knew that there was an element of exclusivity for wearing this type of product because they would sell out so quickly, right? So me knowing that they would sell so quickly, there was sort of an innate feeling that I need to have this, right? I need to have this particular shirt, or I need to have these shorts. When I actually got into it, I got a shirt and shorts, 2 different completely different drops, but it's also the thrill, if you will, of, and if you're an Apple user, you may get this thrill. Back in the day, right, when they would release new iPhones and things like that, you would be one of the first ones in line, right, at the Apple store or the AT&T store to get your Apple. There's a sense of urgency, right? When things are in limited quantities. The same could go for Taylor Swift tickets. My Swifties out there. When tickets go on sale, like, you want to be one of the first ones. And when you do get the ticket, it's sort of a badge of honor, right? Like, all these sort of, psychological triggers like also happen for stores like this. When you have limited items and your brand sort of revolves around these limited drops, it can really help you catapult yourself to a higher level because people perceive you as a little bit of a higher status because it's a little bit harder to get that particular product. Now, these 4 hacks were sort of very simple and in your face and really not talking about how to get it done. I'm not saying that we have all the solutions for you, but if you want to actually get more sales and you're interested in learning about some apps that will give you more sales, then watch this next video.